Million years ago, the ocean was home to the majority of vertebrates, or backboned animals. As the years passed, some of these creatures began to invade the land, requiring adjustments to survive the harsher conditions. Some lost the structural support necessary for water environments and developed the ability to crawl and walk on dry land by evolving two pairs of walking limbs. To thrive on land, these creatures needed to absorb oxygen directly from the air, leading to the evolution of lungs. At that time, the dominant land-dwelling animals were amphibians, which eventually gave rise to reptiles. Reptiles shared common characteristics, such as scales-covered dry skin and leathery-shelled eggs. These adaptations were suited to prevent water loss and drying out while on land. Having adapted to land conditions, some animal groups, including reptiles, decided to return to the ocean, with some fully transitioning to marine life and others, like sea turtles, occasionally returning to land for a period of time. And this is where our story of sea turtles begins. So what makes their science and biology fascinating? What makes them successful as marine reptiles? And why do they face the risk of extinction? The biology of sea turtles is quite fascinating, and here's why. Sea turtles have their bodies covered with an upper shell called the carapace and a lower shell called the plastron. In most sea turtles, the carapace and plastron consist of paired bony plates. However, in leatherback sea turtles, the carapace and plastron are leathery, and they have no evident bony plates, but instead consist of interlocking cartilaginous osteoderms. In addition, all sea turtles possess an anapsid skull, meaning the region behind their eye socket is entirely covered by bone and has no openings. Interestingly, sea turtles are unable to retract their head, neck, or limbs inside their shell, a trait that is common among land-dwelling relatives like tortoises. Their front limbs have been modified into flippers or wing-like structures, which have one or two claw-like growths. These enable males to easily grab and hold onto the female carapace during mating. Their hind limbs are typically modified into paddle-like structures, which help steer the turtle's movement while in water. On land, these paddle-like structures are used by the turtles to propel themselves forward and to dig their cup-shaped nesting chamber in the sand. After mating, the female retains the male sperm in its body for a period of time. Internal fertilization of the eggs then occurs, and the adult sea turtles migrate from the feeding areas to sandy beaches in the tropics and subtropics where they prepare their nesting sites. These nest chambers can be up to 1 meter deep, and the female can lay from 50 to 200 eggs. Once the laying is done, the female covers the eggs with sand, leaves them unattended, and returns to the water. Several factors, such as prevailing temperatures, can influence the duration taken by the eggs to fully develop and produce hatchlings. This duration can range between 45 to 70 days, with warmer temperatures associated with hastening the development of the eggs. The hatchlings can weigh between 15 to 30 grams and usually emerge from the beach surface at night. To avoid predation by birds and other terrestrial predators, the hatchlings must quickly make their way to the sea. To ensure they don't lose their way, they use the bright reflection off the horizon. Another interesting thing is that the gender of these hatchlings is determined by the temperature of the nest in which the eggs were incubated during their critical development period, which is the middle trimester. Mostly, warmer temperatures above 29.51 degrees Celsius result in the development of females, while cooler temperatures below 29.1 degrees Celsius result in the development of males. This phenomenon is called temperature-dependent sex determination, or TSD. So what that means is that during the rainy seasons, more male sea turtle hatchlings emerge from the nests, while during sunny seasons, more female sea turtles are hatched. With that in mind, could ongoing climatic changes affect the sex ratio balance of these marine creatures in the future? Let me know what you think. Besides that, there are several fun facts about the nesting behavior of sea turtles. This behavior can be exhibited by an individual or a group of female sea turtles. When in a group, approximately 350,000 female turtles show up on one beach over a period of 3 to 5 consecutive evenings, a phenomenon called arribada. During the end of this nesting season, eggs laid by an individual female can total more than 1,000, since their egg-laying process is multiple and can happen at intervals of days or weeks. The eggs of sea turtles are cladoic, with a diameter between 2 and 6 centimeters, and they possess a leathery inorganic shell constructed from the shell gland in the oviduct of the laying females. The nesting season in turtles is controlled by several factors such as the level of nutrition, availability of stored fat, and photoperiod cues integrated by the sea turtle's pineal glands. Once done with this laying business, most females do not return to nest again until a certain period has elapsed, which may range between 1 to 9 years. On the other hand, male sea turtles continue to mate as much as they like, and this particular action normally takes place in the water. Sea turtles have found a strategy to ensure their survival, whereby they exhibit high reproductive potential that compensates for the high mortality rates in their hatchlings or juvenile sea turtles. Apart from larger sharks and crocodiles, sea turtles tend to have few predators, and their reproductive maturity age, which is dependent on species and feeding habits, is roughly between 8 to 20 years. Sea turtles continue to grow throughout their entire lifetime and can live up to the age of 40 to 70 years. In abundance of food and favorable environmental conditions, higher growth rates are experienced in the early life of the sea turtles, which rapidly decreases after sexual maturity and becomes negligible as the turtles get very old. As far as size is concerned among the sea turtles, leatherback sea turtles stand out with adults weighing between 300 and 500 kilograms and lengths of over 2 meters. And how do sea turtles survive in marine environments? Sea turtles possess several features that allow them to survive in marine environments. Their specialized organs, such as the lungs and heart, allow them to dive and stay underwater comfortably for more than 1 hour. Also, their tissues comprise high levels of myoglobin, a respiratory pigment that acts as an oxygen reservoir when sea turtles dive or hold their breath. Moreover, their respiratory tidal volume is large, ranging between 2 and 6 liters per breath. This unique feature allows them to rapidly expel carbon dioxide and take in oxygen during their brief moments on the water's surface. In addition, the counter-current heat exchangers in their flippers ensure that heat exchange with their surrounding environment is controlled. Surprisingly, the circulatory system of sea turtles is well modified and can restrict blood flow to all tissues except the brain, kidneys, heart, and central nervous system. This phenomenon comes into play when sea turtles engage in deep diving, such as dives over 750 meters in depth. Leatherback sea turtles have been recognized as the deepest diving sea turtles. Since the sea turtles' diet, including their drinking water, comes from the ocean, their kidneys have been modified to minimize salt uptake and conserve water. Ideally, their kidneys are equipped with shorter loops of Henle, which aid in the regulation of ion and water levels. Due to this, these marine creatures possess highly developed glands in their heads, which concentrate and excrete salt in the form of tears. These lacrimal salt glands allow sea turtles to drink seawater from an early age. The diet of sea turtles varies from one species to another. For instance, the green and black sea turtles are herbivores and normally prefer seagrass, algae, and thalassia. The Ridley turtles feed on crabs and crustaceans. The loggerhead turtles feed on sponges, clams, crabs, shrimp, and sea urchins. The flatback sea turtles feed on sea cucumbers, jellyfish, mollusks, and seaweed. The hawksbill sea turtle feeds on sponges, and the leatherback sea turtles feed on jellyfish and other cnidarians. Interestingly, sea turtles that feed on jellyfish are never affected by the venom produced by these fish. Sea turtles have been threatened by human activities, making a large number of them endangered species. The major threats to sea turtles are pollution, poaching, and destruction of their nesting sites. The commercial development and alteration of beaches for easier access to boats, together with beach erosion, lead to the destruction of turtle nesting sites. In addition, artificial and bright lights near the nesting sites have caused the hatchlings crawling from their nest to the sea to lose their orientation, and they end up following the source of the artificial lighting, thus moving away from the water to the streets, where they actually don't belong. A large number of adult sea turtles also get killed after they get themselves trapped in fishing nets meant to catch shrimp. Notably, sea turtles are hunted by humans for their meat, eggs, shells, and leather. Apart from humans, other animals such as dogs, cats, and raccoons are also notorious for preying on the eggs of sea turtles. Pollution of the ocean has also contributed to the death of sea turtles. Some die due to ocean oil spills, while others die from ingesting floating plastic bags, which they mistake for jellyfish. Fishing gears, such as ghost gears, dumped in the ocean, can entangle sea turtles, causing them to drown or be unable to feed. The uncontrolled development along coastal regions, which involves the clearing of land for seaside buildings and infrastructure, has resulted in the damage of sea turtles' feeding and nesting habitats. Collectively, this means that unless necessary actions are put in place and executed, these wonderful sea creatures will become a forgotten story in the future. In terms of distribution, only leatherback sea turtles have a limited distribution and can only be found in Australian waters. Leatherback sea turtles primarily nest on beaches in northern and south-central Queensland. The other sea turtle species, such as hawksbill, loggerhead, and ridley, are distributed in the world's oceans. As we conclude, if sea turtles were to become extinct, would humans be to blame for their extinction, or would it be assumed as the work of nature favoring the fittest creatures? Do you think enough is being done to protect these sea creatures? Leave your thoughts in the comments section, and thank you for watching. Just in case you would like to see more exciting topics in natural science, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.